25 minutes before 11 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in this Tuesday morning. There is flooding in the news throughout the Midwest, all the way down to Texas. I mean, this morning as I went through the news, I realized that there was a similar story happening right through the center of the country. And then I go on Facebook and I saw that Joe Reichel posted that a lady in Ohio called for some help. She had a flood.
Just outside of Cleveland. She had 4 inches of water in her house.
Wow.
She called me this morning at 6:30.
Not trying to laugh at her misfortune, but that's amazing. You got a call from Ohio.
From Hawaii.
Ohio. Anyway, Joe Reichel is here from Damage Control. And Joe, your guest?
My guest this morning is Ronnie Jones, the owner of Superior Aluminum and Design Company.
All right.
And the reason I drug him in here with me this morning.
Glad to be here.
Ronnie does aluminum enclosures, pool screens, things like that, and we had him come in on a job that we had last spring, where elderly homeowner had a tree fall in her house, and it tore up kind of part of the screen enclosure, and him and his guys came in and took care of it for us. So. Storm damage is...
Is that covered by homeowners insurance, that part of the... Okay.
It's part of the structure. So that's, storm screen rooms is one of the things that we do. Storm damage is one of the things we do, and that's oftentimes that, I'm sure you've probably seen a lot more than that too, as far as with these storms and stuff that come through.
Yeah, we get it a lot. Sometimes just a strong storm will come through and branches will fall and rip through the screen, and we come in and take care of it.
And if it's made out of aluminum, do you simply replace it, or do you bend it back in shape, or both?
It depends on how much structural damage is done on the aluminum. If it's bent up pretty bad and the spline groove is damaged, then we replace it.
Now, when you say the spine groove, is that where the screen goes in?
Yeah, that's where the screen goes in, and then it gets tucked in with a piece of rubber spline.
Oh, wow. So I never knew that was called a spine groove.
Spline,
yeah.
Spline groove. Okay.
Yeah.
I have a spline groove tool. I don't know how to use it, but I got one.
So on your card here, you do rescreenings. That's one of the things that you do.
Yep.
I know, that's something. How long typically does Ronnie does something have, like as far as you have a screen enclosure, how long is that screen usually good for?
It depends on sun exposure.
Right.
The company, I use Pfeiffer glass, and that company stipulates that the screen will be good between 8 and 12 years, depending on the sun exposure. So if you have a strong west sun exposure and you're in the sun a lot, then you're going to be looking at the 8-year range.
Okay.
Not so much 12.
I never realized that. Wow.
No, I know too, anytime you have, just like a house, anytime you have your trees or anything that's, shrubbery that's close to it, that wind, it kind of, moving those trees against it'll wear on the screen too. So, I mean, one of the things I tell homeowners on the show all the time is, make sure any overhanging limbs that are touching your roofs, you want to get those cut off. And I'm sure it'd be the same thing for your screen enclosures, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, the shrubs up against the walls going around, people like to landscape that. It's always good to keep them a few feet away.
Yeah.
They usually plant them when they're small and they grow big. So I've seen them actually grow into the screen, which of course damages it. And then like you're saying, when the wind blows, if they're close and the screen is older, and you can tell because it gets light in color, it'll start to wear right through the screen.
Really? Is there anything that clogs up the holes of a screen, like lawn chemicals or something?
Not that I know of.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say I'm a professional on that.
Because I think we've talked about this before. The screen that is used for the lint trap at a dryer, it'll sometimes get clogged up by the chemical that's in bounce laundry softeners, whatever they call those things, and then the air won't get through them. And I've been in porches and it's like, well, there's no wind here at all, and I've often thought, well, maybe those little holes are clogged up.
It's definitely possible, especially if you have a dryer vent that's close to the area, then it can start to happen.
Could be doing the same thing, huh?
Usually moss and algae, swimming pools, you'll see in pollen, it'll start to clog it. You'll see the screen start to have a green tinge to it. But you can wash it, and if you stay on top of that, you'll get life out of it. Yeah.
I know that's not really anything you do, but I'm sure you work with guys that take care of stuff like that. Is that just the best way to do that as far as pressure washing them, or?
Pressure washing is a dangerous thing if your screen
don't pressure wash.
Yeah, if it's new, if you're if you're 1 or 2 years in, maybe you can get away with pressure washing, but as soon as that sun starts to bake that fiberglass, it's dangerous to use a pressure washer, yeah.
Does it weaken the fabric of the screen itself?
It does. The sun starts to break. That's what breaks down the screen, is the sun itself. It's a fiberglass mesh.
Oh, wow. Well, all the shows you've done, Joe, I don't think we've touched on screens at all.
We have not.
My big screen enemy is a cat. The cat will just climb up on it, and next thing you know, there's a hole. Or a pulled apart part.
Yeah, or squirrels. They do it too. And
oh, really?
Holes through it.
Oh, really?
Fortunately, none of that's covered in any warranty.
No, I wouldn't think so.
What is the best? I mean, is there, like repairs that you can do, Ronnie, or is it just like a replacement type if your screen gets damaged like that?
There is repairs you can do. I stay away from it. You can get patches and you can patch it. It's a very big eyesore, I think. I don't think
it is, and I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah, I was just going to ask the same thing. Every time I've seen a screen that's been patched, it's evident that it's
real
patch.
easy to see.
And
Yeah,
it's not all that expensive, especially if you're not talking about a whole cage. If you just have a few panels, it's not that expensive to come out and change out a few of them. Of course, the way I work is if you're under a certain square footage, then there's a trip charge, but even so, it's relatively not that expensive.
Well, let me ask you this. I mean, we're getting into hurricane season, and I see on your card here, hurricane protection. What exactly do you offer there?
I do impact sliding glass doors and windows. Typically, in this area, we don't do much of it because we're in a different zone here. But aside from that, I call them H&L tracks, the corrugated metal. We can direct mount those. And then, of course, accordion shutters would be an upgrade from there. Those are the basic.
So these are like your storm shutters that if a storm was approaching, they could just close these off, or even like snowbirds.
Yeah, that would be the accordion
them.
type shutters. I would recommend that if you're a snowbird. You can just simply slide them shut, lock them, and you're done. For people who are going to be year-round and maybe not retired, they can use the panels that actually go up one at a time. They're about a foot long, wide, and you put them up and take them down every storm. The tracks stay on the house, but not the panels.
Okay. Now, do these come in different colors, I'm assuming, that homeowners could choose from, or is it a one color fits all?
The accordion shutters come in different colors, so you can get them in standard colors is white and bronze. The corrugated shutters, if you will, the panel shutters, they come in a galvanized metal-looking color, mill finish, just tin color. I don't know what you want to call it.
Metal.
Silver, gray. Yeah, metal color.
Yeah, I know. One of the things that I see as far as in disaster restoration and talking to homeowners, and even we've had Brian Gibson with the Sheriff's Department in here, and we were talking about being prepared and hurricane preparedness, or even just disaster preparedness. And it seems the longer we go without a hurricane or even a tropical storm, the more lackadaisical that we all seem to get. Do you find, Ronnie, that, are there many homeowners that are having these put in, or is it something that, if we were to get the threat of a storm, that you're going to get busy? Or I'm sure you would get busier.
That's usually what happens. What you said is exactly true. You don't get hit by a hurricane for years, and people do get lackadaisical, and when it does come is when the phones start to ring. In the Cali area, we haven't done a lot of it. It's just, people who are more conscientious than others, and we get into it. And then when you start, obviously, getting over towards the Crystal River area, we do more of it over there.
Okay, so what is your service area, your coverage area?
Pretty much go anywhere, especially if we're talking about a whole house hurricane protection. That being said, the main area is obviously up to the Villages, up to Gainesville, over to Crystal River, and that's within that radius.
Stuart, Florida?
I have done some in Stuart, Florida, but I also lived down there at the time. So
Okay. Well, and the reason I'm asking, and I didn't know that was you did these until just now. Actually, the hurricane protection and the hurricane shutters. I just worked with you on screen enclosures, so it's good for. This is good for me because I had a friend of mine who just recently moved to the Stuart, Florida area, and he goes away for the summer, and he wants to get hurricane shutters, and he told me he can't find anyone to install these down there.
Oh,
So,
wow.
I don't know.
Wonder why.
the install, obviously, I would do. However, every time a storm comes, and if it's
Right.
the kind you put on each storm, then I'm not going to go down there just for that. But
Right.
last year, I just did a job in Jupiter, accordion shutters. So I
Okay.
did go down there to do that.
Neat. So that's good to know. One of the, talking about, like I was saying with my friend who leaves for the summer, we just got a job this past week, Larry. This elderly woman returned home from up north. She's a widow, had been gone for 3 weeks. She comes home and her house is flooded.
Oh, my goodness.
And we went there. This was Thursday night. We were there, me and the,
Oh, I
and the
think
guys.
I saw this on Facebook, didn't I?
Yeah, water everywhere, and she's standing there, and she's got this lost look on her
bet.
face. She has
Bet, yeah.
no clue. We had to shut the water off to the house, and
So
get it.
something broke when she was...
It was a slab leak. The
Wow.
plumbers were able to find it and get it fixed, but she's there, and she has no, basically had been gone from the house, didn't know anything about it until she came home.
Oh, my goodness.
And here she's got all this water in her house.
Yeah,
And
yeah. How
we
old?
were-
Oh, you said older lady?
Yeah, she's probably in her 70s. So has been widowed for a while, and we were talking about it as far as if you're going to be gone from your house for a while, it make a lot of sense to turn off the water to your house.
Yeah.
Especially if you're going to be gone and not no one there or no one checking on the house. And I know there are those services that they call them snowbird services, where people come in and they check your house and check on everything every so often. But in the meantime, in between checks, anything's possible to happen. So I mean I've never really talked to anyone about it until we were talking about this job, as far as turn the water off if you're going to be gone. I mean, I don't know why we've never discussed that before.
Yeah, absolutely. I've never done that at all.
Turn your water off?
Yeah.
Never?
Oh, only to repair something.
Right. I mean, that's what we do usually. And I've got people that tell me they never leave the house if they have the washer or the dryer running, and just in case of an accident.
Well, I don't
So-
do that. I don't leave unless it's turned off.
Well, until we started doing the disaster restoration work, I never even worried about it.
Now you do.
I mean, I do. I think about all these things all the time. As far as the washing machine running.
So I have a
and
quick question.
Not stopping.
If you turn off all the water to the house,
Okay.
do you also need to turn off the water heater?
Well, your water heat, yes.
Because
Would you? I don't know.
Well, if the water
If
heater's
nothing's
full,
running.
you can shut it off.
Yeah, if nothing's running, you wouldn't even need to shut it off. But it wouldn't hurt to.
Okay, well, that's what I was wondering. Would there be a problem by leaving it on if there's no... I know there's no flow anyway if nothing's turned on.
Unless you had a water heater leak, that would be the only problem.
I've heard it happen too, believe it
Right.
or not. Yeah, I've had a friend, it just happened that the bottom rusted out while they were gone.
Oh, gee. Mm-hmm. Oh, wow. What
But
time?
then you'd need a new water heater anyway,
Yeah.
so whether it burnt the element or not.
But if the water was turned off and the bottom broke out, then the only water would be that in the
That's
tank.
in the tank.
Yeah.
So you have probably 8 gallons, maybe. Is
Is that all there is in there?
Depending on the size of your water heater.
Really?
There's not much in there.
Yeah, I can take a long shower in 8 gallons, can't I?
Well, I guess so.
I
well,
feel
it
like I'm in there a
continues to
while.
heat. I mean, it continues to heat. So maybe you have a bigger water heater. I don't know.
Ron, what
You're
is...
a pretty big guy. You might have a big water heater.
Got a lot of surface to clean. So, Ron, what is the name of your company?
Superior Aluminum and Design.
Superior Aluminum. Okay, all right.
What is your contact? Now, what's the best number for homeowners to contact you if they have? And I should have warned you ahead of time. This is a call-in show, so homeowners could have called in at any point
in fact,
here.
that's a good point to invite them to do.
And yeah, homeowners, or anyone with a question, you're welcome to call in the WOCA line, and I don't know what that number is.
622-9622. That's the WOCA.
I should remember that someday, but if a homeowner does have a question, what would be the best number to call you on? This number here on your card?
The number on the card, which is 352-817-8058.
Okay, and I see your email address here is ronnie@superiораluminumdesign.com.
Correct. That's obviously my email address, and then there's also the website, which is superiораluminumdesign.com.
Excellent.
So what's the biggest job? Would it be enclosing a pool? If there's somebody who doesn't have their swimming pool enclosed, is that like a huge job for you, or is that the easy one?
It could be a big job, especially if it's a big enclosure, but as far as how hard it is, they're relatively easy.
And could an aluminum structure be...
Any monkey could do it?
Just about. You can walk
Everybody
up
who's
to
good at what they do
that.
says that, right? What about like a tool shed or something? Could you build that out of aluminum?
I suppose you could. I never have.
You don't have. Okay,
No.
That's not usual.
No.
Typical. Okay.
I mean, you could put metal sides on it and do that, but yeah, typically it's not something.
Yeah, I pretty much target the rescreens, fixing of the panels and structure, building them, of course, and three-season sunrooms, which is glassing in, closing in your back lanai, and, of course, hurricane protection.
Do we, I see, I've never done this, so I'm guessing nobody else does, but up north, you know how you would change the storm windows in the winter and then you put screen windows in the summer? We don't do that around here at all, right? Or maybe they don't even do it up north anymore. Yeah, I mean, air conditioners are everywhere now, so.
Pretty much the windows that I put in anyway in the back lanais, they come with removable screens.
Oh, okay.
And that's it, and then the glass window. So it's a little bit different, than like a storm door from up north.
Do you do like an aluminum window replacements, things like that?
I don't usually get into that much. Maybe for close friends, but I don't really go out.
So no one here in this room.
There's so many different window manufacturers and types of windows from those manufacturers.
Right.
And so many different pieces and parts. It's just, you would actually have to be set up to do that type of service work.
If you have a question right now, this is a good time to call if you would like to. The number here, again, is 622-9622. Joe Reichel is here with Ron. What, Ron, again, your last name?
Jones.
Ron Jones. Easy enough, from Superior Aluminum and Design, and your questions will be answered.
Okay, so I'm looking at your card, and it says pools and bird cages.
Yeah, that's usually what they call a pool cage without the swimming pool. So a popular term is a bird cage or a cage, but basically it's the same thing that you would put up over a swimming pool, but without the swimming pool inside.
That's a nice idea.
It's very big in retired communities. The homeowners want to come out and enjoy
no bugs
and enjoy their back lanai, which is usually small at a house that they purchase, and they gets the grill out into the screened-in area instead of inside under the lanai roof, and they put up patio furniture, and they enjoy their patio out there.
Really? So the screen isn't enough to hold in the carbon whatever it is, monoxide, dioxide, whatever it is?
No.
So it's not an issue?
No, it's not an issue. Obviously, you want to keep your grill away from the screen. If you pick up the lid and the lid's hot, you can burn your screen. As long as you keep it away.
Yeah, really? I bet you.
And we do a lot of those repairs as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
They get burned? Do they melt, or what?
It starts to melt, yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So the actual fabric, the little threads, they're made out of aluminum?
For the most part, it's made out of fiberglass. They do make a screen made out of metal, but it's very expensive, and it dents real easy, and you don't see it much.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, usually up north, you'll see the metal screen.
The do-it-yourselfer that is going to put in a screen that fell out. I know when you go to the hardware store, you have to buy that rubber stripping.
That's the biggest mistake.
The spline.
That's the spline?
That is the spline, and that is the biggest mistake homeowners use. There's many different kinds of round size, round spline, comes in different diameters, and then of course flat spline. There's different size of flat spline as well.
Oh, wow. So how do we know?
How you know is you look at the groove that's in your metal. And I can't answer that question over the phone. You actually have to go there, look at the groove that's in the metal, and then
experience teaches
Yeah, and I see it all the time on repairs. You see round spline jammed into flat spline grooves.
That would be me. Yeah, that would be me. I think I've made that mistake. I'm not really sure.
I think probably everyone has if they've repaired their own screen.
Yeah.
I mean, it would be easy to make that mistake.
Yeah. And then they watch you do it, and they're like, "You do that so quick. It took me so long." That's because you were using the wrong stuff.
And you also have the little tools that
Yep.
push it in the hole and everything. So.
Plus, the round stuff is different sizes too.
Yep, it's all different sizes.
Shoo. So you really need to know what you're doing.
It helps.
Otherwise, it'll just fall apart again. And the cat,
Any monkey can be trained to do it.
The
like I
cat
said.
will pull it right out, right?
Yeah.
Wow, we have never talked about screens before. Of all the things we've talked about.
There's a first for everything.
Obviously, the screened-in area has to be free of valuables. I mean, obviously, a thief could get through a screen pretty easy. So.
Yes, but I suppose anybody can steal just about anything if they're really committed to it.
I guess
But,
so,
you
yeah.
see a lot of people who keep valuables out there, especially in the gated communities.
Well, we got the gate.
Yeah.
That stops every thief,
Well,
doesn't it?
and a lot of people use these areas. I mean, I know we're working on one with a homeowner, a proposed project, and they've got the pool and the screen enclosure already, and they're wanting to, off of the one side, make a summer kitchen out there, and also a spot for the hot tub. So we're going to have to bump the screen enclosure out in one area and then attach it all to the summer kitchen, the new summer kitchen where it's going to be. So, I mean, they're going to have a TV out there and, all these nice appliances and whatnot. So, I mean, most of the time people...
Well, that's something nice, actually.
Yeah, it'll be very nice. And that's, I mean, I know several people that have these areas that, they have really nice grills out there, or they have like a TV if there's a covered area that they'll, flat screen on the wall, and so.
Yeah, you see it a lot. Do you do outdoor kitchens? Or?
We do.
Yeah.
We do. So we've got one that we're working on right now, and another proposed. We're not working on it yet, but proposed we're working on a project for someone, and then we've got another one, and so we'll have you on that as far as fixing the screen and getting it all tied in. So.
I appreciate that. I also get, people asking me if they know who do outdoor kitchens, and so it's good to know who does those. Excuse me.
Pretty much, if it's construction, we do it. If it's a disaster, we do it. If it's building new, we do it. So.
Does the outdoor kitchen have to be compatible with the indoor? In other words, could you have a gas stove outside even if your inside one is electric?
And that's where a lot of times people have their gas grills out there, or a gas stove, and the one that we're working on, they're wanting a table with a fireplace, a bar top table with a fireplace in it. So, and that'll be off of a gas or propane. So, I mean, the only thing there is they don't want to have a tank, and they don't have gas supply to the house, so it would all be run off of propane tanks. So,
okay. So
I mean, if the homeowner doesn't mind having to change out propane tanks, then that's perfectly fine and something that's normal.
We are just about done, guys. Let's make sure we give out some phone numbers to your listeners.
This is the quickest half hour of my day, the fastest half hour. My number, if you need me, that's Joe with Damage Control Services. It's joe@damageflorida.com, 817-6574. Ronnie Jones, Superior Aluminum Design. What's your contact info?
Phone number 352-817-8058. And you can contact me through email at ronnie@superioraluminiumdesign.com.
Excellent. Thank you, Ronnie, for being on the show today.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
All of your knowledge, and if you guys didn't get that, if you need me, I got that information, and I can forward Ronnie's information to you if you need.
Very good. Another great show. Thank you, Joe. Thank you, Ron.
Thank you.
We'll take a little break, and we'll be right back. Fox News coming right up.
Broadcasting from the Paddock Mall Studios, this is WOCA, Ocala, Gainesville, The Villages, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
Fox News Radio, I'm Lillian Wu. Two men trapped when the